Hello, welcome back. Another week, another episode. We're back. You're listening to Send Him Off. My name is Sam, and joining me as always is my ever-present podcasting partner, Alex. How's it going?
It's all right. We're 2 weeks on the bounce now. We're properly back
I
into it.
know
I like
the
it. Yeah,
hiatus is over.
yeah. About time as well. But again, we're not alone. Sam, do it.
We're not. We're joined by Mark and Anthony today, otherwise known as the Exploding Heads.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you for joining us, guys.
No,
Oh,
no
lovely.
star. Yeah, there we go. See,
Dalek and
okay,
Ryan.
When does
well
this
done
go
already.
out? This might be a Borda sort of podcast. Or is it
No,
Ian
it's a Prynhaundar. Yeah, it's a Prynhaundar.
Afternoon. Yes, whenever you're listening, we've covered
Yeah,
them all
that's
now.
true.
So
Yeah.
Done it all. Covered it all bases.
yeah. How are you doing, guys? Thank you for joining us. Really appreciate that.
Thanks
Good,
for having
mate.
us.
Thank you. Yeah, lovely. It's just good I would say it's good to get out of the house, but I'm still in my house doing this remotely.
Yeah,
It's good to.
Yeah, we can only apologize about that. Sorry.
It's good to remotely get out of the house.
Yeah.
Can I just say before we do get into it, Mark's moustache is absolutely amazing. I have dreamed of having facial hair like that for so long. I know I'm only 23 at the minute, but yeah, that's just a crack. How do you do it?
It will come. Patience, dear.
Patient.
Yeah, I was getting nowhere with castings with a great big kind of blank face. Grew this, and suddenly I'm the most interesting person on the casting circuit.
There we go. Right.
I go for now. Just
He gets a lot of chicks.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going wrong. That's where I'm going wrong, clearly.
That's not the only way you're going wrong, Al. I can tell you that. It's got absolutely nothing to do with the facial hair, Al. Right. So I think we'll start off this week by I usually do this at the end, but guys, do you want to tell people to start off where sort of they can find you on socials and find your content?
Sure thing. Yeah, you can visit us on the Exploding Heads at exploding_heads on Twitter, where we do football sketches and politics. A lot of politics going on at the moment. It keeps us in business.
Yeah, I bet. Not out of a job.
Sorry?
Definitely not out of a job at the minute.
Not out of a job, no. And we do a podcast called Sports Horn, which is the third most listened to breakfast sports radio. We're coming for you, Talk Sport. We are coming for you. Ian Five Ankles, of course, former professional footballer. You'd have seen a lot of his clips on YouTube of his playing days in the 90s. Yeah, he's got his own
similar moustache to me.
Yeah,
has he? Oh, brilliant!
He's very similar.
It's moustache land over there. I love it.
Yeah, he's got a new breakfast show on Sports Horn called the Ian Five Ankles Breakfast Show, and he's recently divorced. He's going to get his ex-wife back.
Denise.
Nice. Is that the sole purpose of the podcast?
Well,
kind of.
Yeah, kind of. It is.
Yeah,
it
nice.
Basically is. He definitely wants his ex-wife back, but he needs the money as well. Bless him.
Fair.
And although
I rate
it being the third most talked about sports show is part of the PR blurb, in real life, we did hit the top of the charts in Azerbaijan.
Yeah,
well done. Well done,
baby. 35th in the UK. Weirdly, 35th in the UK, 135th in Ireland. Ireland, a tough market to crack.
Yeah.
But Azerbaijan love you. So what does it really matter?
Azerbaijan and Malta. They just love it. They get us. They get us.
Yeah.
You've got a special connection.
We had a cheeky little appearance in Estonia as well, didn't we, last week?
Yeah, they enjoyed one episode. Then they didn't come back. We dropped out of the charts of Estonia.
As a country, they replied en masse with just, no, not for us.
We shouldn't have called them all wankers in episode 3.
You win some, you lose some, boys. You win some, you lose some.
A lot of them, I think. Is the Anyway,
we'd like to confirm this is not the views of Send Him Off podcast.
We love Estonia.
What's your favorite thing about Estonia?
The Estonians. Has to be the Estonians. All of them.
I agree. I'm trying to think of an Estonian footballer.
Ragnar Klavan.
There we go. There we go.
Estonian. Yeah.
And before you ask me, we're going to move on to what we came here for, because
Room 101.
Room 101 is going to commence,
off, as we've called it, because we've definitely not ripped this off from beloved George Orwell novel 1984 or the beloved BBC One show hosted by Frank Skinner. So it's Rant him off, not Route 101. But we're going to get the guys today to put their bugbears, their pet hates and pet peeves from the world of football into Room 101 and banish them forever. And Alex, we are
going to decide who wins.
Judges.
Yeah.
So, without further ado, which of you want to go first? You can fight it out amongst yourselves.
Just toss a coin, Mark.
Yeah, coin. I don't carry old-fashioned money anymore.
You can't flip Apple Pay, can you?
Like, you can't flip Apple Pay.
All I've got is some very small dice.
But there we are.
Got in a tombola at a Village Fete.
Nice.
Here, I'll take one of them out. They're very small. I think they're for borrowers. Okay. higher than 3 or lower than 3. Hang on. 1, 2, 3 or 4, 5, 6, Mark.
I'll go 4, 5, 6. 4
it is.
Get in.
So you start.
In your face.
You start.
There we go.
Right. So the thing that I want banned from football, which I think is, I don't know how funny this is going to be. It's a real kind of earnest rant. I hate cynical fouls. I think they should be punishable by like incarceration. It's so against the spirit of any sport. The fact that you can do a cynical foul and get away with a yellow card is just outrageous to me.
Right. I'm going to stop you there. I want a definition here and now of a cynical foul.
Well, you're not even making any attempt to play the ball. You're just trying to stop the player from doing whatever it is he's doing.
But you still get punished for it, Mark.
But it's so against the spirit of sport in general.
Is it against the spirit of sport, or is it in the spirit of sportsmanship? These are the questions I need answered.
Well, sportsmanship, I think, is an interesting concept, and one I would also like condemned to Room 101.
So hang on, you're getting rid of both. You're getting rid of something that's anti-sportsmanship, but then you're getting rid of sportsmanship itself.
Well, by sportsmanship, you mean kind of the Jose Mourinho win at any cost type. That's what you mean by sportsmanship.
Kind of gamesmanship. I mean, by sportsmanship, I mean gamesmanship. That's a fault on my part. I apologise.
No, it's fine. I understood what you meant. Yeah, this kind of win at any cost, I think, I don't think it's overstating things to say that it is polluting society in general. It's a pustule on the arse of humanity as a species. And I'm not having it.
Okay. Right. So
it's a strong start.
Gamesmanship, cynical fouls.
Yeah, I mean, right down from the blatant kind of diving handball to stop a definite goal if you're an outfield player, to rugby tackling someone on the halfway line if they're likely to be through on goal.
Right. I've got a question for you, and I need you to answer this honestly. Okay. So what football team do you follow?
Have a guess.
Is it all right if I don't reveal that? Because
that's fine. That's fine.
Because Anthony's safe because he supports absolute minnows, but I support one of the big teams, and because we make a living out of taking the piss out of football, I'd hate for anyone to accuse me of bias. I genuinely think I am harsher on my team as a result of not wanting to show bias. Anthony would disagree with
Lads,
me.
I'd love for you to guess who he supports, and I won't give it away. But
just
from what he said so far, tell me who you reckon he supports.
I reckon he's.
I wonder if there's any revealing books behind me.
United
might be a Spurs fan or a United fan.
That's where I'm going.
I don't think he'd be a Spurs fan, though, because basically Harry Kane plays for Spurs, and every 5 minutes he's cynically doing something. I don't think Mark could,
true.
Look himself in the mirror.
That was kind of the question I was going to ask. So, whatever team you support, you've been down the ground, you've been watching them on TV. Has there been any moment when a player for your team, whoever they may be, has made a cynical foul and you've clapped, well done, great foul, you've done what you've got to do? Have you ever done that? And you've got to answer that truthfully.
Truthfully, no, I've never done that. Honestly,
So what kind of infractions are we talking about that your team can get away with? What about if a player picks up the ball and then gets an extra 5 yards for a throw-in, just walks up the field a bit further than he should?
Well, that is a big part of what I'm talking about, in that it's ruining humanity as a species. I think that should also be binned in room 101 because, that is cheating. That is against the spirit of the game. I don't stand up from watching them and shout at them for doing that because everyone does it, but it's bad and it shouldn't happen.
But everyone loves a character, don't they? So where does the character stop, Mark? Everyone loves, in a post-match interview, they're too robotic. Oh, they're too media trained. And then on the field, you don't want to lose the characters. You'd lose George Best, wouldn't you? You'd lose George Best, like cheekily running behind the goalkeeper, nodding the ball out of his hand and then scoring.
Well, that actually wasn't against the rules, and it should have.
You'd lose.
There's some excuses creeping in by you. There's some exceptions and excuses.
You'd lose Paul Gascoigne. When the referee dropped his card, you'd lose him. No,
you wouldn't.
You'd lose Eric Cantona beating the shit out of a fan at Selhurst Park, Mark.
I'm surprised how often that gets brought up on this podcast, honestly.
Almost every episode.
Almost every other episode we talk about,
we might have to change the name.
I would say as shocking as that, well, the Cantona moment is probably more shocking, but I was genuinely jaw on the floor when Zidane headbutted Materazzi.
I think that's my first football memory.
What else can you remember from that final? Absolutely nothing.
No, I can't remember anything.
He's got a point.
It's just, genuinely, I think the greatest bit of cheating ever to exist in the game is probably the most successful, and it's Luis Suarez in the 2010 World Cup against Ghana, where he handled the ball, and then they went and missed the penalty. Yeah. Like that is the greatest example of cheating ever.
What about Luis Suarez just biting people for about that 3-year period of his life when he was bit people's necks?
I don't know what he was thinking there.
You'd lose that, Mark.
Well, and being racist as well, don't forget.
Yeah, you'd lose him being racist.
He ran around.
That's a different kettle of fish altogether.
Tit for tat there, really nice of
people, catching the ball and being a racist.
Yep.
Yeah. There is a sliding scale, you're right. It's like cheekily Vinnie Jones grabbing Paul Gascoigne's nuts and Luis Suarez being racist. Yeah, you're right.
There is a fine line.
Sorted out by a shake of the hand, according to Sepp Blatter. So we're all good.
And a couple of t-shirts. Don't forget. Don't forget the t-shirts.
At the height of Mourinho and Ferguson's rivalry, there was a time when those two teams would meet in major finals, and the gamesmanship was the only thing worth tuning in for because nothing happened on the pitch. They would pick tactics and sides that would just cancel each other out. And it was awful. It was a horrible time to be a football fan in general. I don't want that.
Well, I'd also argue, mate, that these sorts of incidents actually sell the product around the world and keep it the most watched, because football's a soap opera, isn't it?
But why can't we have the kind of Man City, Liverpool, Keegan's, Newcastle, where we're going to concede 4, but we're going to score 5? That's
Can I just say, as somebody who's actually watched a game where we've conceded 4 and then scored 5, Swansea Crystal, I could not do that every week. That was I'll remember that game to the day. I could not do that every week.
Alex's blood pressure still coming down after that.
Yeah, that was a tough one to watch. That was.
You'll remember it forever.
I will remember it forever, but not always for the right reasons.
2001 FA Cup final.
For every time, Mark, you're saying, "Oh, this happened and this happened, and isn't it terrible?" Remember the Battle of Bramall Lane? Like these sorts of terrible, bad-tempered, bad sporting moments go down in history. They're just part of it. It's just great. What about when
nothing was riding on that?
Who was it? Was it Chiellini who took down Saka in the
fight? It was
as a Welshman. I'd like to say that was bloody fantastic.
Exactly. As an Englishman, it was awful.
Was fantastic.
It's just stuff like that that's just like, remember when Boris Johnson rugby tackled like
I remember that.
Child.
Yeah.
He also does anyone remember a celebrity football match that he played in where it was Lothar Matthäus?
That was actually what I was talking about, but also the Japanese child.
He rugby tackled the child, didn't he? Yeah.
That was in a rugby match. That was in a rugby match. That was in a rugby match. We can let him off that.
And he was still a red card in that.
Child didn't have the ball.
Right. So we've got cynical fouls on one side.
Cynical fouls and all like general pollution of society. I feel like that sort of encompasses.
Yeah, that's encompassed everything. Anthony, what are you countering it with?
Football fans that base their whole personalities around one player, i.e. Ronaldo or Messi.
Right. Please get into this.
So just it's just tedious. Like, we used to support teams, and you did have a footballer that was your favorite. But it's turned now into, you don't have a personality unless it's replying under Twitter, Pessi or Pinaldo, just their name, but with P in front.
Yeah.
Having your avatar or whatever you call it, your profile picture as the player, and then just changing from Real Madrid to Man United. They change teams to support based on the player. It's like they don't support a team anymore. They just support a player, and they're just watching one player. It's like the football equivalent of Be a Pro on FIFA.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to go down the road of like a football prostitute myself, but I think you've covered that much better than I would have done. So well done. Thanks for that.
It's like, do you remember you might even be too young, but Sky used to do player cam, where you chose one player to watch.
Yeah.
I remember that with Falcao. I do. I think I was.
Yeah,
we did watch that a couple of times.
Falcao.
Don't ask me why. He was absolutely appalling that season, and I just turned it on to him.
Game probably. Yeah. Just stood in the halfway line.
It was really easy. I just went to make a cup of tea. To be honest, it was a
I watched it once, and it was Villa playing, and it was like what was his name? Was he called Savo Milosevic or something like that? I was just watching him for a game, and I know that it's fascinating. But imagine just doing that, but your entire life.
Yeah,
you're just watching one player.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. When they change teams, you change teams too.
What?
Imagine how pathetic that must be. And what happens when they retire? Do you give up
That's
football?
literally what I was about to say.
Or do you just then move on to Neymar?
When they retire?
Move on to Neymar, move on to Mbappe. Quick, go to your desktop folder of like footballers' pictures that you want to make as your profile picture. Quickly whip up Mbappe, change your whole profile on Twitter to that, and start calling whoever Mbappe's rival is. No idea.
It's cult of celebrity.
Yeah.
Call him Barland.
It's a direct result of cynical fouls. It's
no, it is not. No, it is not, Mark. It's a direct result of people being.
I don't know. Mark is starting to convince me.
When these kids see these players retire, I'm sure they're the kind of kids who they've played so much FIFA that they think there's just going to be a regen. Like,
yeah,
there's going to be a Legends card.
Like,
yeah,
in real life, there's going to be a regen.
And do you know what? It doesn't just happen in football. It happens. The only other person I can think of it at the moment is Elon Musk. You just get Elon Musk fans. And they just, under anything he says, it's like they just reply with pictures of him, but with like a halo around his head and stuff.
Yeah.
Just like, are these people real people or are they bots? I might have been conned. I'm now thinking, I can't stop thinking about what happens when they retire. Like, did they just stop watching football and go batshit crazy when soccer comes around every year? Like, you know what I mean? When the retired players come back, like,
I've got to be honest. All I'm thinking of is Boris Johnson tackling the Japanese child.
Yes,
that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
So I need to like, come out of that mode.
And that Japanese boy grew up to become Neymar.
Everybody idolizes now because of your theory, but no, exactly. I kind of agree with you, because I think that's kind of like a result of like social media and how football has sort of incorporated itself into social media. And I've got to be honest, I can't stand it. I hate the stats. I hate, how everybody obsesses over stats. I hate there was like, Ronaldo scored this many penalties, Messi scored this many penalties. But it is a reason of the cynical fouls. You just gotta
you have to accept that, Mark. You are right, but it is it kind of makes me hate both players, and you shouldn't hate both players because they're great players. But whenever Ronaldo, he doesn't do it anymore because he just scores tap-ins. But when he used to score like incredible, like that overhead kick in the Champions League final or whatever, or like when he rose above all the defense in 2008. In the Champions League final against Chelsea. I can't remember my dates now. But anyway, you couldn't enjoy it you could enjoy it then, but now you couldn't enjoy it because you'd be on the same side as a million weird little Ronaldo fans who start like making desktop screensavers of that moment.
On the plus side,
shit, I'm on their side.
On the plus side, Anthony, you and I have made a lot of decent videos deliberately baiting Ronaldo fans.
That's true.
As part of, like, we've been performing together for the best part of 12 years now, and it never ceases to get a reaction to just whenever we refer to Ronaldo in anything at all, we refer to him as the world's second best player. knowing that we're going to get
Fucking hate it.
inundated with people go, what? Who's better than him?
Fucking
It cracks
hate
me up
it.
every time we do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're right. I mean, will they still support him when he's in a nursing home?
Are
Well,
they
like
are
they
they going to
have-
come and visit him? Are they going to go and visit him? Realistically, probably not.
Realistically.
You know,
Realistically, the logistics of that nursing home, the
Exactly,
booking
yeah.
system.
it's going to be carnage. So
I think you can only like get one visit per week for just hygiene and safety reasons. So that's a lot of fans to get through.
Right,
So,
Al,
like,
let's
yeah.
those are
let's
two
make a
very
judgment.
very opposite yet very interesting suggestions.
Yeah.
Can you only put one in?
We can
You
only
put
choose
one
one.
in.
Jesus.
I know the
Shall I
pressure's
tell you my
weighing down
thoughts?
already. Go on.
I get what you're saying about cynical fouls, but I just love a bit of shithousery. I do. I really love it. I can't stand these people who comment underneath, like all these people who comment like ratio. Oh my god.
Who's your favorite player?
Lot. My favorite player is of all time.
No, currently, because I'm
Currently,
imagining you changing your profile picture to them and basing your whole personality around.
Yeah.
Are you a Swansea fan?
Yeah.
Who's who is it?
Like, chuck Joel Perot on there or something, isn't it? Or like or Matt
Exactly.
Grimes.
Can you imagine?
Those people exist. We encounter these people every day. The ones Joel Perot, Obafemi, Matt Grimes, they're all just like covering my Twitter, and they are an infestation.
Do you think it started with having a player's name on the back of your shirt when you were a kid?
Maybe.
Do you reckon people started? That was the gateway drug.
See,
That's
I was
already
the
been in.
equivalent of,
I think
like,
that's
a quick
already in
spliff.
room 101, actually.
No, I was a narcissist though, and I had my own name on the back of my shirt.
Yeah, so
when
did
was a
I
kid.
actually. Yeah.
Did you?
I did as well.
So,
that's what I still do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the best part is though, I had a shirt with like my surname on the back, and the number 10 when I was little, and like I donated it to like this thing that was taking like football shirts to Africa. So there's some kid in Africa wearing my name on the back. I think I'm like the best player.
I forgot about that.
Brilliant.
So
Right,
I'm
my
gonna
thoughts.
make a case
Go on.
for players, like player fans, to
The thing with the player fans is they're everywhere, and they are an absolute disease on this earth. I will say that. As a former defender, there were many a time I gave her the elbow, or stood on a boot, or a little bit of gamesmanship. So I'm sorry. I'm going to have to side with Anthony as well. I'm really sorry, Mark.
right, so there we are.
Get in.
Fair
Get
enough.
in. Thank you so much.
Think we've got well, that was heartfelt. I like that.
Yeah, you meant that one.
We've got.
I just
we've got time for-
the trouble is though, logistically, lads, how are you getting rid of everyone? Because this seems now a bit like
Yeah,
you're
we've
getting
got
rid
to
of a
solve
plague.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it seems a bit like
I haven't got
you're
the facilities for them,
advocating
I'm afraid.
genocide there.
Just put them in a stadium. Just put them in a stadium.
Yeah.
And then, like, like they're shutting the San Siro, and that'll fit them. Put them in the San Siro.
And
To
then
be
what?
honest,
Just let them in
the
there without
Cardiff-
any food or water.
The
Yeah,
Cardiff City
fend for
Stadium
themselves.
is empty enough. The Cardiff City Stadium is enough
plenty of
anyway,
room in
most
there,
weeks.
Plenty of room.
There's enough room in there. Send them in there. The hot dogs, I've had hot dogs there. They're fine. They're all right. Leave them to it.
I was at the 2005 Carling League Cup final in Cardiff Stadium. I was a guest of the editor of 442, so we had posh corporate hospitality, and we both got food poisoning and almost don't remember anything about the match because we were throwing up poisoned prawns that we've been fed.
All the more reason to put them there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That's
there
where
we
they
are.
belong. That's
Is
where
that
they
the
belong.
Millennium Stadium you're talking about, Mark?
Yeah.
Oh, even
Oh,
bigger.
right.
Even
Oh.
bigger. Even bigger.
Yeah.
Do you know how
that'll
much it
definitely fit them.
costs to close the roof on the Millennium Stadium in electricity? How much money?
Probably a hell of a lot now, isn't it?
What do you reckon? Oh yeah, this fact's
How do you know this stat? How do you
Because I
know
went on a
this?
tour of the Millennium Stadium. That was the only thing I
Right.
remembered.
And-
But when did you go on the tour? Because I don't know if you've been following the news. The energy prices have gone up a bit.
Well,
Yeah.
exactly.
When did you go on this tour?
Are you working it out, Anthony?
When it I'm just
Just working out the interest, like.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna get
kilo
the
wattage
facts.
to pounds.
Okay,
I went.
I got it.
Go on.
You tell me. Make your guesses.
Sam,
I reckon like a couple of grand.
Couple of grand.
I'm going
open
six
closing.
figures. I'm saying £200,000.
What do you reckon, Mark?
I'm going to say £5,000.
£2.54.
Genuinely.
Yeah. £2.54.
Nice.
Oh, see, I look stupid. £200,000.
£200,000.
That would be a
94.
taxpayer's nightmare.
He said that with his chest as well.
£2.54.
Yeah, I know.
£2.54.
That
Yeah.
I reckon you can add some zeros to that now, though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
but only
there we
one
are.
zero. £20.54.
I reckon we've got time for two quick ones. I reckon two quick Room 101s. Definitely one. We've got one more. So, is there anything else that you would like to put forward for Room 101? So, Anthony, have you got another one?
Ex players who work in punditry touting their own friend for a job in management. I'm looking at pretty much every pundit, but I'd go with Robbie Savage, who cannot hear a bad word about any English player or manager. Whenever they're in trouble, it's difficult for him to defend them. He'll try. And the only way out of it for Robbie Savage to defend his friend is to then tout another of his friends in the same job. That's the only way out for Robbie Savage. For example, Frank Lampard, no, he hasn't had enough time. He hasn't had enough time. Okay, he's got to go, but let's put Gerrard in instead. That's the only way that Robbie Savage can get out of his own quagmire of a logical problem. And I want that gone. It's like a breath of fresh air when you hear a voice of reason saying maybe a foreigner might be better. But no. Let's bring Steve Bruce in for another attempt. Steve Bruce. I mean, he wrote 3 novels. His fourth should be like ever decreasing circles because it's just pathetic now.
It's the big three
Sam.
in this. Big Sam, Steve Bruce, and who's the other one?
Who do you want? You got Alan Pardew.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was going to say you got tons.
Martin O'Neill as Lord.
Martin Hughes,
the one time I've been wrong on that though is I'm a Reading fan, and when Paul Ince, I know we lost to you last night.
Oh, unlucky.
Oh, well, that's what we're good at. We're good at throwing away. So what we're good at Reading is we tend to start a season really strong because we want both sides of the excitement. You want to be really excited at the start of the season, but at the end, and we're not going to push towards promotion. So what we do is we start off for 6 to 8 weeks being around the playoff places, or even we went 9 games unbeaten at the start of a season 2 years ago. And then the end of the season, we flirt with relegation. So you got it both ways. It's fun for everyone.
Yeah, there's a bit of something for everyone.
Yeah. So I was wrong about Paul Ince initially because I thought he would be a terrible choice because he hadn't managed for ages, and it's Paul Ince. But
that's just a total lack of disrespect, to be honest, isn't it?
I did have
lack of disrespect.
I did have to concede that he might have been a good choice, saving us from relegation, then starting well. But I think we're sliding again, to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
well,
Steve Bruce could do a job for you guys.
Get him in, Bruce in.
Bruce Army.
Right. So, what, Marky? What are you countering that with? What have you got in the locker?
I promise I'm not lobbying on behalf of referees. This is another thing about infringements of the rules, but I detest it when a player will commit a cardable offence and his reason that he gives to the ref for not getting a card is that was my first offence, as if you're allowed a free pass.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
If it's in the first 10 minutes, that should be allowed. It's nonsense. Absolute nonsense.
Yeah,
one free hit. One free hit, you know.
Yeah.
Just go up and kick the opposition goalkeeper in the nuts. But it's my first offence. It's a first offence.
Although, I mean, referees don't really help.
It would be quite interesting if they did make that a rule. You've got like the purge, you know, where
everybody's got one.
Crime doesn't exist for 24 hours. Yeah, everyone's got one red cardable offence or yellow card offence, and just see what happens.
It doesn't really help though when referees yellow card a player, and you see them saying to the player, they like pointing at various parts of the pitch where they've committed infringements, as if to say that's built up to one yellow card, and you're like, how accurately are they pointing? Are they pointing to exact parts of the pitch, or is this just for show?
But it incenses the entire crowd as well. That's the worst bit.
Yeah.
Like the entire crowd will just then like descend upon the referee. But
I'd like to advocate for a rule for across the 92, one game is randomly selected per week, for a klaxon to go off for a random 10-minute period in the game where there are no rules.
Oh, that'd be good.
I would love to
interesting.
advocate for that.
That's
Just
would be
like when
superb.
Sky get when one championship team gets a game on Sky every year.
It's usually us.
yeah,
It's usually
one year
Swansea, and then we usually lose. We always
Yeah.
embarrass ourselves on TV.
Yeah.
I don't know how
yeah.
we do it, but they just say, right, the cameras are there. Make a cock up of yourself. There we are.
Yeah, you
That's
seem
usually what
to.
happens.
You smash us all the time. I can't remember ever beating Swansea.
I need to
Beat us
ask,
in the playoff final.
what on
beat us-
earth is the matter with Joe Lumley?
What's the matter with him? Well, he
Yeah.
played well for about 25 minutes a few weeks ago. He came. He when he joined. You know, like when you go on fan forums. Well, there's only one fan forum you'd watch. Raid on Reading. And it's always like, hello, I'm a fan of another team, but just to chat here for some reason. Like you always get one weird fan from another club who's like, yeah, I've just set up a new profile just to come in and say I'm looking forward to you playing. Yeah. So anyway, we had that where this guy came in from did Joe Lumley play for Middlesbrough?
Middlesbrough.
Right,
Yeah, it came in and he was like, "Oh, I'm a Borough fan here. I notice you've I can't do the accent. You've got Joe Lumley now. Can I just say how shit he is?"
Never bodes well.
Like, oh, and like with most clubs, you'd be like, "Oh no, we know what we're doing." But with Reading, everyone was like, "Oh shit, you're probably right. Yeah, he's great." Oh no, what have we done? And there was one guy in the thread who was like, "No, I think he'll be good. Yeah, no, a mate of a mate is his like a physio, and he says, he's like really good. They've scouted well." That guy was. So anyway, I hope he comes good, but I think it's just one of those when the championship where it's like, is any keeper good?
You either have a really good keeper in the championship or a horrendous keeper in the championship.
Exactly.
There's no in between.
There's no in between.
No.
So yeah. I mean,
are you putting Joe Lumley in room 101? Is that?
No.
I'd like to
Yeah.
after last night. Yeah. He was horrific.
Yeah, a lot of fans do say that.
So we've got Robbie Savage put in.
Just Robbie Savage.
Do you know what? He probably would win on his own.
Yeah,
He'd be
would.
straight in there.
Yeah.
So what was it? Not encompassing. Lobbying for your mates to go into jobs as a pundit and etc. But I'm putting Robbie Savage in there because I just don't like the man in general. Up against
101.
There we are. Up against. Remind us, Mark.
The free pass.
Free pass for the foul.
That does annoy me. It does when you see people going. One's my first. Yeah.
It may have been two-footed to the face, but it's my first.
Yeah. Is the more you talk about it, the more warped it is, and I'm starting to find it quite funny. The whole touting for your friends thing, like the whole, like Jamie Carragher just busted on Gary Neville for a year for not wanting Ole Gunnar Solskjaer out, and now Gerrard is literally like crumbling Villa. And like,
to be fair, the best person for
nothing.
it, the best person for it is currently in management, Phil Neville. Played his son. I mean, if you want to play for Miami, just give Phil a call.
I nearly did. The work's getting stressful. I need a holiday.
Paul Ince is another one. I love Paul Ince because he just brings Tom Ince everywhere. Everywhere he goes.
Fair, he scored yesterday.
Yeah. He's not a bad player either, to be fair. But flipping heck. It's just like when Tom.
He can't do his own washing. He can't do his own washing. I'm convinced.
Definitely not.
That's what it is.
Do you reckon it's Paul Ince's missus going like, sign Tom now? Make sure you sign Tom.
Steve,
leave him behind. Well. You can't leave him. Come on, bring him with you now.
I just can't. I want to imagine him going into the board and go, so I found this player. I think he'd be perfect for us. And they'd be like, what's his name? Tom Ince. Tom, what? Any relation? No relation. No relation at all. I think it'd be really, really good for us though.
Yeah.
Does that mean if like Reading signed Alex Bruce, you'd know that Steve's
on his way?
Steve's
on his way.
But Paul, this is the 13th time you've signed him.
Yeah. I wonder what the scouts must think. Oh God, here we go.
Paul Ince probably does his own scouting, to be honest. Top of the list. Tom Ince. He's got a brother as well, hasn't he? I'm sure he has. I'm sure his brother plays.
He plays.
What, Tom Ince?
Yeah, I'm
I
sure.
don't know. I never knew
there's
he had a
another
brother.
Ince brother. I'm sure there is.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, we all
Good
know
if
who the
there
favorite
is.
child is. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Right.
Best son of a footballer quickly. Kasper Schmeichel.
Kasper
Maldini.
Schmeichel. Yes.
Oh,
well
what
done.
the new Maldini, the regen.
The
No,
regen.
Maldini.
That
His
is a
dad played as
regen,
well,
isn't
didn't
it?
he?
That's what's
His
happening.
dad,
Oh, he was a
Ches-
regen.
Cesare
Shit,
was
you're
his
right.
his
Yeah,
father
yeah,
was
yeah.
Cesare,
Dad
then it was
played.
Paolo.
Yeah.
I'm
God,
trying to
what
think
a
of some
family.
quick. I think the Beckhams are up there. Not necessarily for football
They're not, though,
prowess,
are they?
but
'Cause
no, not
they're
for football prowess, but for carrying on the brand. I
Oh,
mean,
just a bloody good
they're a-
photographer, his son
they're
is.
a dream.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah, they're a dream. They're an absolute dream. No, I can't think of anyone better.
Haaland's a shout.
Oh yeah, actually, Haaland.
Haaland,
Could
yeah,
be.
fuck it.
Could
Yeah,
be.
Haaland is definitely the best. Yeah,
Windass
Haaland.
Jr. is tearing it up.
Yeah.
Who?
Dean Windass's
Dude,
son.
Oh,
Dean
fucking hell.
Windass.
Dean
That's his
Windass.
son. Oh, Liam
I
Delap. Liam Delap's
Yeah,
playing well.
Liam Delap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom Ince.
Tom
Tom
Ince,
Ince. There we go. Yeah.
He's,
Anyway,
Do you know what? I'm gonna go for like I it does annoy me, I forgot what was Andy's Anthony's who's Andy? Who's Andy?
I don't know, mate. To be honest, right,
my-
this is the
my
easiest
one
name
was-
you've ever got wrong
Yeah,
as well.
I know.
Of all the names Alex has got wrong on this podcast, this is by far
Anthony,
the easiest.
Yours
mine
was the pundit.
Yeah.
I'm beginning to become like desensitized to it, but there's nothing that winds me up more than when I'm in the ground and there'll be the player and it's my first. It doesn't matter. Like our players sort of riding on the floor, the stretchers come on, fetched him off. So I'm gonna have to side with Mark Bear.
Yep, I agree with that one. We'll go 1-1
play.
and we'll
Fair
share
play.
the spoils. I think that's
1-1.
probably all we got time for, to be fair.
good
in
job.
terms
I
of
think it is,
actual room 101. But it's been an absolute pleasure. I've enjoyed this one.
I've enjoyed it. I think
It's
it's
been a
been
roller
great. Yeah.
course to this, as we've
That's the right word for it, to be honest.
We've
It's been a
covered
roller
everything.
coaster.
So we've covered absolutely everything today. Guys, do you just want to take a couple of moments again just to tell people where they can find you, what sort of stuff to expect? I know we done it at the start. But,
Yeah, Mark
give
can
us
do
a
that, and
plug.
then I'm going to tell you another Estonian footballer who played in the Premier League.
Oof, go on.
So Mark,
He's
will
trying to
do-
make up for it. He's just trying to make up for what he said at the start.
Yeah, we love Estonians. Yeah, you can follow us on Twitter, exploding_heads, for all things football comedic, and we do quite a bit of politics and some really surreal sketches as well. When we were talking about Paul Ince, I was reminded we did a whole sketch called Paul Ince Eats a Quince, which I can't even describe it. You just got to look it up. We're on YouTube, but we haven't updated that for years. Yeah, find us on Twitter.
There we
That's
go.
right. And listen to Sports On. And
Sports
Mark,
On, yeah, from
Mark
all
Coombe.
your normal podcast platforms.
Yeah. Help us get back in Estonia, the bastards. Mark Coombe played for Derby County.
There we go.
Boom. Oh, what a shout.
How about him?
Coombe
Yeah.
Big
time.
shout. And if you want to let us know any more Estonian footballers, you can find us on Twitter. Please tweet us Estonian names.
Yeah,
I'd
just
love that. It's
a load of them.
be waking up like all hours of the night, people just going Estonian footballers.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah, you can find us on Twitter at Send Him Off Pod. Our Instagram's at Send Him Off Podcast. You'll find us anywhere, whatever you're listening now. Drop us a follow or a subscribe or a like or a review, whatever you like, whatever you're feeling. If you're feeling nice, we'd
And visit our shop. Go and buy some Send Him Off
you want a
merch.
nice, sexy little
There
hoodie
it
like
is.
I'm wearing. There you are.
Nice.
Look at that. Why I went black and white then, didn't I?
He does that often. He does.
I
He,
do,
he
I
sort
just
of
go
the
black and
colour
white now
drains
again.
from him now and again.
Yeah,
Don't worry
I
about
just-
It's quite
Yeah.
arty.
Yeah, you know.
Like an
That's what I
Estonian
say.
art
It's a
film.
filter. Sepia. Right. Thank you guys for listening, and thank you guys for joining us. It's been a pleasure, and we'll see you next week. Alex, pleasure as always, mate.
As always, yeah. Great.
And,
I'll see you
see you
next
next
week.
week with the return of what football means to me. Looking forward to that one.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. Who we got on?
Paul Cooper
There we go. Paul
making
Cooper.
his return. So we'll see you soon, guys. Thanks for listening. Ta.
Take care.